Hello everyone, I'm here today to do a review of Case Study by Graeme Macrae Burnet, who was nominated for the longest of the Booker Prize this year. And so this book, it's an interesting one to describe. I don't think the plot is the main attraction of it. So the way that it's structured is we have the beginning and the end that are written from supposedly the author of the book, who is researching. It's presented as a non-fiction book, who is presenting the life of this psychologist, Colin Braithwaite, who was very controversial. And we have alternating sections. The main part of the book alternates sections between supposedly non-fiction biographical sections of his life and notebooks of this patient of his, and the patient that we follow is this woman that her sister committed suicide, and she's convinced that part of that was caused by this psychologist, because the psychologist had written a book called Kill Yourself. So she thought that he was involved in that death. So she takes a new identity to kind of follow this man and try to investigate more about the death of her sister. That's the setup of the book. So we have these three abstraction parts. We have the notebooks, then we have the biographical parts about Colin Braithwaite, and then we have the introduction and the conclusion of the author of the book, that is telling us how he found these notebooks and the interest that he has on this particular man. Obviously, all of this is invented. None of it is true. Colin Braithwaite never existed. And I think the most interesting parts for me were the notebook parts. However, I have to say, I thought it was going to be a lot more about the sister. It's not so much about it. That's the setup for her going into this psychologist, but then it's a lot more about her own struggles and her own personality and her potential disorders, that kind of thing. Why she's doing this, why she's having this double personality thing to advance the investigation. So that's mostly what the book focuses on, that and this very unlikable person of Colin Braithwaite, who was very controversial. We see the way that he treated women especially was really jarring. But yeah, all of the people in this book are actually quite dislikable. The main character, the woman, she treats people also with this condescension, and I think it comes from her insecurities, the fact that she was the other sister, her sister, the one that died, had gone to Cambridge University, I believe it was, Cambridge or Oxford, and she was very smart, and everyone thought that she was like the superior sister. So living on the shadow of that, we see this woman struggling with herself. So those are like the main things that we explore. Is not so much a mystery about the sister as I thought it was gonna be. So with that said, what did I think about it? So as I said, the characters were very unlikable, but they were quite fleshed out. I thought I didn't particularly like following them because they were so unlikable and not that interesting. I think they were horrible people, but they didn't have the background why they were horrible people was not that compelling to me. So yeah, I don't know, it was okay. I think it depends on how you feel about reading about unlikable people, but yeah, they were fleshed well enough, I will say. In terms of the writing, I found it kind of, at the beginning I was mildly interested, but it dragged and dragged and dragged. Especially, I think a lot of people I've heard that they thought this has some actual truth on it, I guess, because the the biographical sections do feel a little bit like non-fiction, and there's a lot of dates and titles of books and things like that were thrown in to make the biography feel more real. So a lot of people kind of felt that was actually real, and they Googled if it was real or not. For me, it always felt very fake, because the parts of the biography, although it had a lot of dates and data that made it feel more real, it was always presented with this very sure, like everything was always sure, and there were small details that were mentioned that it's very unlikely that a biographer could know, and they are all presented so surely that it, like for me, that I read a considerable amount of non-fiction, felt very unreal. Like there is no way that a biographer will know about this one time that the psychologist was told off by his mom and sent to his room when he was little, like that kind of thing. And it was not presented in a way that was credible to me. I don't know how to explain it. Also, the tone was kind of sarcastic at times, and normally biographies are not sarcastic like that. So yeah, I didn't feel that was like it was done in a way that was super credible, despite of all the background that the author built around this personality to make it feel real. The way that he wrote it was still feeling some sort of unreal to me. So even though the construction was trying to do something special, I don't think that he succeeded as much as he wanted to. I don't think it was 100% successful on what it was trying to do, but the structure was interesting enough. But yeah, like as I said, once you get over the structure and the first couple of chapters or so, then it's just about this woman's struggles, which I was not overly interested in, and about this horrible man biography, which I was also not overly interested in. So it just dragged. It just dragged a lot, and I didn't think the ending was that impressive either. Like at some point we just follow this woman, so we kind of have a sense of where she might be going with all this. So yeah, for me it was interesting enough. I can see why it's in the long list, because it was trying to do something different, but it was not a particularly enjoyable experience after a while. So yeah, that's how I feel about this book. Let me know what your thoughts, if you have read it or if you want to read it, and until next video, bye!